Hey guys, it's January 23rd, 2024, the 40th anniversary of Hulk Hogan winning his first WWF Heavyweight Championship. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more this week on Federation Nation. Alright guys, welcome back to Federation Nation. I am Anthony, this is Collectors Entertainment Network, and this episode we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan winning his first WWF Championship belt on January 23rd, 1984. And the day that I am recording this and the day that this will be dropping on YouTube is January 23rd, 2024. 40 years since the kickoff of Hulkamania. Before we get into that, guys, I'd like to ask you, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please comment down below. Let me know your Hulk Hogan memories. Guys, please share this with anyone you think may like it as well. And go ahead and give this video a like, because that helps a lot too. And also go on over to Facebook, join the Federation Nation group over there, and show off your vintage WWF collections, your Hulk Hogan collections, anything. We'd love to see them. All right, so January 23rd, 1984, the official kickoff of Hulkamania. Yes, I know he had been in the AWA and had been using the Hulkamania line there and for a few years, but really, the real kickoff was when he came to the WWF, and January 23rd, 1984 was the official kickoff of Hulkamania, winning the WWF Championship belt from the Iron Sheik in Madison Square Garden. In a little bit, we're going to take a look at this little kid's book, Hulk Hogan Wins the Belt. Although there is a mistake, an error, typo, I don't know. It says January 24th in there, but it's not January 24th. It is January 23rd. But before we do that, I just wanted to bring out some stuff. I've got all the Hulk Hogan covers of Coliseum videos. I've got, of course, Hulk Hogan LJN. I got this Hulk Hogan with this championship belt. Christmas of 1987. I got this guy. I also got the Bendy there Christmas of 1987. I think it was either Christmas or my birthday. My birthday's a few days after Christmas. But I got him with the steel cage. No, you know what? I think I had the steel cage by I think I got the steel cage on Christmas, so I would have got him then too. I think we're talking, it's been 35 years or whatever it's been, 37 years, I don't even know. And of course the Hulk Hogan thumb wrestler, I think I got him actually before I got him. I think I got him like the summer before. I'm not sure, but I think I got him before I got any full. No, actually I think I had Roddy Piper. Maybe. I don't know. I got him somewhere in the summertime. But anyway, here's Hulk Hogan. I mean, let's just take a look. The visually iconic, as the New 80s Revolution would say, image of the Hulk Hogan LJN. And this is the guy I had. This was my champ. This is the figure that I got Christmas 1987. Let's put him back. And again, see, this is the variant that only came with the steel cage. It's the blue knee pad Hulk Hogan. If you bought it just in stores as itself, it was the regular red knee pad, but this one's got a different build and it has blue knee pads. Of course, you've got Hulkamania, Hulkamania 2, the Immortal Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, Hulkamania Forever, all that stuff. And here is the WWF magazine that came out right after he won the title. Now, unfortunately, I've had this since I was a kid. Not 1984. In fact, I'll tell you when I got it. I got it March 89, something like that. Or maybe that's when my friend got it. I don't know. I know I got it off my friend. So, but I was a kid, but it wasn't off the newsstands in 1984. I wasn't yet quite a wrestling fan until maybe the March to WrestleMania 2. So either late 85, very, very, very early 86, somewhere in that time period. It was third grade for me. That's when I became a fan. But anyway, unfortunately, what I was going to say is that it's missing a page, and it's missing kind of like the most important page of the Hulkamania article. Here's where it starts. There's a page right here. It's a pinup. You know what? I'm going to bring it up right now. I'm sure I can get a picture online. Let me bring it up right now. And that's what it looks like. And if I could get the other side of the page, I'll bring that up right now. But then the article continues to go there. Andre, and then here. It's not even the match against Sheik. But it's actually the first WWF magazine, World Wrestling Federation magazine. Before that, it was Victory magazine. This is the first one. I've got to replace it because I've got to get a complete one. Not to mention this one's beat up. I don't mind that so much. If it was complete, I wouldn't care about it being beat up so much, but it's not complete, so I'm going to have to pick that up. Unfortunately, that's the most expensive WWF magazine on eBay right now. Like, you can get the Victory magazines for cheaper than this. And, of course, I've got Hulk Hogan, February, March, 1986. I could pull up, I don't know, 15, 20 covers of WWF magazine with Hulk Hogan on it, so I'm not going to do that. I just put these up as some background as well as that. I do want to take a look at this. We're going to zoom in like we do on From the Pages. We're going to go over this. I'm going to read a story to you guys, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how Hulk Hogan winning the championship belt and Hulkamania running wild had an impact on me, had an impact on wrestling, and we'll get to that right after this. All right, guys, here we go. Hulk Hogan wins the belt the day the Hulks beat the Iron Sheik. 12 collector stickers inside. I don't have the stickers, I don't think, inside anymore. All right, here we go. The World Wrestling Federation Superstars, starring in Hulk Hogan, wins the belt. Now, this is not going to be completely accurate. I'll never forget that night, kids. It was January 23rd, 1984, not the 24th, at Madison Square Garden in New York City. As I moved toward the ring, Eye of the Tiger blasted, and Hulkamaniacs screamed my name. On the one side, I saw all the good guy wrestlers cheering me on, fists in the air. Then, in the other corner, I saw them, the bad boys of wrestling. They were all huddled together, trying to come up with a plan to defeat me and keep the championship belt. They moved away, and I saw him, the meanest of all wrestlers. The Iron Sheik was climbing into the ring, waving an Iranian flag over his head, taunting me. I felt like rolling him up in that flag and mailing him back to Iran. But I wanted to win the championship belt fair and square. I wasn't going to resort to underhanded tricks. Just then I felt an elbow smashing me from outside the ring. It was a blow from the Iron Sheik's brutal Russian friend Nikolai Volkov. I turned to the referee, who made Volkov get away from the ring. So the huge Russian wrestler, who thinks that Americans are too weak, wanted to play dirty. The referee was starting the match now. I'd have to forget about Volkov. Then I saw the Iron Sheik motion to another friend. Mr. Fuji is the sneakiest wrestler in the World Wrestling Federation, but his bad buddies always mess up his schemes. He thinks he's tough, but he couldn't karate chop his way out of a bread factory. I put the Sheik in a body spin and took him down to the canvas. As we rolled toward the ropes, I felt something blind my eyes. It was Mr. Fuji's volcanic Fuji dust. Just then I heard the sound of bagpipes. When I saw Roddy Piper, I felt like telling him to take his Scottish skirt and bagpipes and get lost. My eyes were beginning to clear, and I saw Piper making fun of me outside the ring. Ever since he smashed a rock and roll record over Captain Lou Albano's head, I've been mad at him. Then I heard someone else screaming. This is just great. Here I am trying to keep my mind on the Sheik and Big John Studs heckling me from the crowd. Big John distracted me, and that gave the Sheik the chance he needed. Before I could react, the Iron Sheik threw me to the mat. He tried to catch me into his horrible camel clutch hold. No one had ever gotten out of it yet. That's when I heard my friend the big guy yell. Talk about your big boys. Andre the Giant, 7'5" and weighs 500 pounds. Just hearing his voice made me feel better. The good guys were coming to my rescue. Andre is shy and nice, but when he's mad, he's nothing to sneeze at. That's when I heard the rock music. Captain Lou Albano was making fists at the Iron Sheik and cheering with all the other Hulkamaniacs to get me moving. I heard and felt the rock and wrestling connection. I couldn't let the Iron Sheik keep the belt. The Iron Sheik kept trying to put his camel clutch hold on me, but I was holding him off. That's when I heard a dog howling. If I wasn't a dog lover before, I was now. The Junkyard Dogs theme song, Another One Bites the Dust, filled the arena. The JYD was dancing in the aisles with a couple of Hulkamaniacs. Suddenly, the JYD started barking his head off and running around in circles. Roddy Piper had brought a cat into the arena. JYD goes crazy when he sees one. I was sure glad to see Hillbilly Jim. He took the cat away from Roddy Piper and was sitting there playing with it. Sometimes I think Hillbilly Jim should have stayed on the farm. But he took to wrestling quick enough. One night a bunch of bad guys were trying to cut my hair when Hillbilly Jim jumped in and saved me. I needed to keep my mind on the match now. The Iron Sheik was getting me into his camel clutch. That's when I saw the Superfly. The Superfly had landed. He came flying down from the rafters with a whoomp. That's when I knew for sure I would get out of the Iron Sheik's camel clutch hold. All my friends had come tonight to give me their support. The good guys were going to win. I heaved the Iron Sheik into the ropes. Then I flipped him as he flew off the ropes. I clamped on a headlock so tight every vein in my neck bulged, and at last I pinned him. The referee got worried that I'd get too carried away. He declared me the champ. I had won the championship belt. All my friends, the good guys, were going wild. The bad guys of wrestling had been defeated. All the months of hard work, exercise, pumping iron, and eating right had finally paid off. I was the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion. If you eat right, exercise, and get plenty of rest, you can be a champion too, in whatever you do. And if you want to see the Rock and Wrestling Connection in action, you can watch me and all the other WWF superstars on TV. Or if you can, come cheer us on in person when we're in your town. And that is the end. There you go. That is, let's see what the price was, $1.95. And that is Hulk Hogan wins the belt. All right, guys, that was quite the book. Not entirely historically accurate, let's say, but it is a fun read for kids. And I was a kid when I got it. I don't remember if, I ordered it from, Scholastic News or, the Scholastic book thing, or if I got it secondhand. I know I've had that one since I was a kid. There's also a Hulk Hogan Keeps the Belt, which is the story of him beating Bundy at WrestleMania II. I don't have that one. I do have the Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling book, and I think I have another one of those kids' books. I can't think of what it is right now. But one of these days when I get the Hulk Hogan Keeps the Belt, I think I'm going to do a little video about all the kids' books that they had back in the day. All right, so I want to talk about, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, all that stuff. Now, when I first got into wrestling, Hulk Hogan was already the champ. It was just known. Hulk Hogan was the champ. And, of course, I rooted for him against King Kong Bundy. I did not see WrestleMania II live. Again, I didn't see it, but I heard some of it because I remember that night distinctly. What happened was my dad used to go bowling on Monday nights. That was his bowling league Monday nights. And one of the other guys, the guys from work, and one of the guys from work that was bowling, he used to bring his sons there that were around my age. I think one was a little older, one was a little younger, but they were, around my age. And so my dad started bringing me, and it was awesome. It was Monday nights every week. We would go. My dad would bowl, and me and two or three kids, we just run around the bowling alley. It was, I don't know. It was the 80s, and you just run around the bowling alley being kids and playing Miss Pac-Man. I think they had another arcade game. They had a diner bar, like a restaurant diner. It was like a diner, counter in the bowling alley. they'd have like a little section where it was all the lockers. You'd kind of run in and around there. They had another room that we'd kind of sneak into sometime. I guess it was for when they had like events or whatever. It was it was just awesome. Every Monday night was we would go, I would go there. In fact, I always remember coming home, and it was like probably close to 9 o'clock when we'd come home, and Kate and Allie would be on. That was my 80s Mondays. I wasn't watching prime time yet. I think I started in I definitely late 86. I was probably watching prime time, because I definitely was watching it in the March to WrestleMania 3. By that point, I was just like gone, wrestling fan. But anyway, so what happened was one week I went and the other boys weren't there, and I asked where they were. I asked that, and he was like, "Oh, they're home watching or somewhere watching WrestleMania 2." And I was like, "Tonight's WrestleMania 2." Like, I totally forgot like that it was that night or whatever. And I was like, "Tonight's WrestleMania 2." So we finished. Like I said, I usually got home a little bit before 9, and if I recall, WrestleMania 2 started at 8 o'clock that year. So I got home and it was just, less than an hour into it. And I remember going to the channel, and it was scrambled, of course. It was pay-per-view. I didn't order it. But I watched or listened to WrestleMania 2 on pay-per-view. But again, I listened to most of it. I probably watched a good hour of it. But anyway, so that was like me, being a big Hulk Hogan fan, wanting to see what happened after the whole Bundy stuff. By middle 86, a little shortly after that, 86, fall 86, Macho Man became my favorite. And I was just a huge Macho Man fan. I don't know if it was when he went against Jake the Snake at Saturday Night's Main Event, and it's like two bad guys, and I had to pick a side, and I picked Macho Man, and that was the catalyst. But I definitely know that by 87 and going into WrestleMania 3, I was a Macho Man fan. But we're not here to talk about Macho Man. We're here to talk about Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan was just he was just bigger than wrestling itself. I mean, he made it bigger. He was just the face of the WWF. He was the face of wrestling, and he was just one of the most iconic faces of the 80s. I mean, it's just everybody knows the name Hulk Hogan. I know people say who was the bigger star, like Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. If I ask my 80-something-year-old mother, does she know who Hulk Hogan is? She's going to say yes. Does she know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is? Probably not. So yeah, maybe at that time he sold more merchandise or made more money, but wrestling was super hot at that time, and he was just a guy on top. And I'm not taking anything away. Stone Cold was a huge star, but no one was bigger than Hulk Hogan. No one was bigger than Hulk Hogan. Sorry. I don't care what anyone says. No one had been, or ever will be, I am assuming, bigger than Hulk Hogan. People might make more money, but more money can be made now because of, inflation, and, the dollar is different now. Nobody was bigger than Hulk Hogan. Nothing was bigger than Hulkamania. I just can't, nobody was bigger than Hulk Hogan. So I talked quickly about WrestleMania 2. That fast forward to WrestleMania 3. That one I did see on pay-per-view. Now, I was a huge Macho Man fan, wanted to see him versus Steamboat, but the draw was Hogan versus Andre. That was the draw. I wasn't seeing it, I didn't have a way to see it, and it was March 29th, 1987, the morning of, and I had no way to see it, and I was losing my mind. And then my mom was like, you know what, this family friend, right, they always watch the wrestling. Let me call them and see if they're ordering it. So she called them. And they were like, yeah. And she asked if I could come over. She just dropped me off at a family friend. Now, again, it's a family friend. But, so I knew them. I knew the grown-ups and I knew the kids. But I always see them at, family friend, parties of family friends. It's not like we saw them all the time. But, obviously, known well enough for my mom to just drop me off there. So that's what happened. She said, can he come over and watch it? He just so wants to see this. And they were like, sure, come on over. So they dropped me off and picked me up, 3-4 hours later. And I watched WrestleMania 3. And I still remember it vividly to this day. Now, of course, I was devastated when Macho Man lost the Intercontinental belt to Steamboat. But I was then finally elated when Hulk Hogan beat that nasty giant, the slam heard around the world. And I remember when he slammed him, like, I was like mesmerized. Of course, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, when, Hogan was a heel, fought thousands of times, but a bunch of times, and slammed him. Now, granted, Andre was like 100 to 150 pounds lighter back in the, 1980, 1981. So it still was a feat to slam him when he was at the over 500 pound mark. But that to me solidified Hulkamania. It was amazing. And then of course, 1988, the rematch, the main event, Hulk Hogan lost. Hulk Hogan was not the WWF champion. It blew my little wrestling fan mind, because to me all I knew was Hulk Hogan as the champion. So it was just it was crazy. And then of course I was elated when Macho Man won at WrestleMania 4, because again, Macho Man was still my number one. Hogan was my number two. I wasn't someone who like, oh, I like Macho Man, so I don't like it. No, I loved Hulk Hogan. Trust me, I loved Hulk Hogan. And when Macho Man started, like, when he went bad the second time, I still rooted for Macho Man at WrestleMania 5. But then when he got with like Sherry and he was like the, Macho King, I kind of was over Macho Man at that point, and Hogan became my number one. I remember like I think it was Hogan versus Boss Man on Saturday Night's Main Event, in a cage. I think that's what it was. And I remember telling my friend, I'm like, dude, like, Hogan's my favorite. And he was kind of like, come on, Hogan. Like, I'm like, Macho Man's lost something for me. I'm like, if I'm going to be honest, Hogan's my favorite. Like, I'm a Hulkamaniac, man. So that was, that's some of my little memories and stories about Hulk Hogan. Obviously, of course, he went to WCW and, the NWO and all that stuff. Didn't really follow that. I stayed on WWF. I was a WWF guy, so I stayed with WWF. Oh, but one thing I do want to show you is I got this hat. This was got on January 3rd, 1988, right? January 3rd, 1988, I went to the Nassau Coliseum and got this. Hogan wasn't even there. It was the Bunkhouse Brawl, where everyone on the card got into a battle royal where they wore crazy stuff. The Bunkhouse Brawl, Bam Bam won that. Hogan wasn't even there, but, had to get the Hulkamania hat, probably because I got the program. It was how much money did I have to spend? I had to get the program. I wanted the program. That was the one with Matilda on the cover. And so I probably had a few bucks left, and what was affordable was probably the Hulkamania hat. So, that's what I got. But obviously, I was enough of a Hogan fan to want it. So there you go. That's what I got January 3rd, 1988. I'm trying to think of any other like crazy Hulk Hogan memories. I mean, he was just the face of childhood. Like, at least a very big portion of childhood. Hulk Hogan was the face of it. I mean, what do you guys, tell me your memories of Hulkamania. Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania. Were you a fan of wrestling before, Hogan won the belt? Did you become a fan afterwards? What are your memories of, let's say, what are your memories of, well, Hulk Hogan in general, but if you have memories of him winning the belt, because this is the anniversary of him winning the belt, what are your memories of that? But of course, any Hulk Hogan memories are good, because this is, yes, it's the anniversary of that, but it's also just the anniversary of the kickoff of Hulkamania, and, Hulkamania ran wild for many, many years. So, I mean, just let me know. I know I've kind of rambled about stuff right now. WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan versus Warrior. I was so rooting for Hogan. I didn't want Warrior to win the championship belt. I remember my friends were like, Warrior's gonna win. Warrior's gonna win. Why would they do this if Warrior wasn't gonna win? I was like, no. I was like, he just, it's just Hogan beats back every challenge. Bundy was a challenge. Andre was a challenge. Then Macho Man took the belt. Macho Man was a challenge. Warrior's just the next challenge that Hogan's gonna slay. And of course I was wrong, and they put the belt on Warrior, but I didn't realize back then it was like, Hogan was going to make a movie. Although, I mean, I kind of figured that out, that when No Holds Barred came out, a year after he had lost the belt and all that stuff, I kind of even at that age realized, oh, they put the belt on Macho Man because he was off making a movie. I kind of figured it out. So, but I didn't know that he had another movie coming up, so I just figured Warrior was someone else for him to defeat. All right, so that is going to do it, guys. Again, jump down in the comments. Let me know your Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania memories. Guys, please share, please like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because I'd love to have you back. All right, that's going to do it for this very special episode of Federation Nation. What you going to do, guys, when Hulkamania runs wild on you? So I'll see you next time, and until then, have a good one.